Chile. I'm Carla Paz, your host. Everything you hear on Oooh Chile is allegedly and shared purely for entertainment. Some stories are true, some are embellished, and some are fictionalized. Names and details may be changed to protect privacy. This is our version, our truth, our point of view, not gospel, not professional advice, and definitely not an invitation for lawsuits. If it sounds like someone you know, that's purely coincidental. Or maybe you just know a lot of messy people. Either way, sit back, sip your bubbles, and enjoy the weedy weedy, the chisme. And don't forget, drink responsibly. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. I read viral Reddit confessions, so you don't have to. Wine and Chaos Edition. Hi, this is Carla with Oooh Chile. And joining me is Teacup Tino in his little burrito bed. And I do have Coco Bear, but you can't see her. She's down at the bottom. So she might make an appearance, might not, who knows. Welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me. I am your host, of course, of Oooh Chile. I'm your wine distributor, realtor. Today, I am drinking water because I've been feeling a little bit sick. And so I'm going to give myself a little hydration and drink some water. However, since the holidays are coming up, I did want to point out a couple of things for you in case you're looking to purchase any wine for your parties or simply want to have something festive to drink during the holidays. We have some very cost-effective sparkling wines, and then we have some that are a little bit more on the pricier side. I have chosen two, and this one is John Louis, Charles the Fairer, and this one is not as dry, very cost effective. I would say that this is great if you're having a big party, you have to break your budget. This is also great to use for mimosas. So if you're having a party or whatever, this is the one, okay? Now, if you want to really go kind of all out, we have the Gala, and this is champagne. And let me tell you, this is spectacular. The bottle itself is actually beautiful. It's auto paint, and you can engrave. You can write on it or engrave. It's whatever you'd like to do. I actually have somebody that does engrave these bottles. So if you like that, want to do a special present and have it engraved, it can be done as well. So anyways, this is a little bit more. It's actual champagne, and it's delicious. Things that I love to drink. So today's segment, I have some Reddit posts, and I have my little laptop here that I'm going to read to you. And boy, oh boy, we have a couple of crazy Reddit stories. Let's see. I don't have my glasses on, so hopefully I won't need to put them on. I try to do my font kind of big so I can see. The first one is Reddit #1. So this is it. I'm going to read it verbatim again. So my husband's son, 28 male, confessed his shameful secret that my husband would want to know about. How do I, 34 female, respect my duty to my husband without ruining my relationship with his son? Here goes. My husband, Daniel, is 60. I know that it's a big age difference and Reddit is against that, but I met Daniel when I was a grown woman in my 30s. On top of that, my husband looks better than most men my age. So, we don't know how I feel about that. Anyways, so my husband and his son aren't very close. Surprise, surprise. Daniel wants to mend the relationship, but it's difficult because there's a sort of a cultural clash between them. Daniel was raised in a culture where affection is shown through sacrifice and discipline, while his son is American. So his son expects more emotional openness and outright affection from Daniel than Daniel is really capable of. This has definitely led to a lot of resentment, and when I came along, that sadly made things worse. His son was really unhappy about it. His son just takes an issue with me specifically, and he's been taking that out on his dad. He usually ignores me, and when he doesn't ignore me, he can be nasty. Daniel has asked me to do my best to put up with it and somehow tried to have a good relationship with him. I've tried, and I think maybe that finally helped. Daniel is visiting his mom, and I was unable to go. I can't take that time off work right now, so I've been home alone except for the few days when his son decides to stay here. His son doesn't have his own place. He usually stays with his mom, but sometimes he'll be here. I don't really want to get into the details of what happened, but the other day he was here and I sort of understood what was going on. But later that night, he got drunk and we had a long conversation. And at some point, he basically confessed what he's been doing. Let's say he's been gambling, even though that's not it. So it's not gambling, folks. He told me that he's been gambling for many years. He spent a lot of money on it. He doesn't feel like he can stop. He even sought therapy for it and didn't help him. He feels like he can't have a normal life because he has this constant urge to gamble. The morning after that, he came up to me and literally started crying and asked me not to tell his dad anything. But I know Daniel. I know his values. I know he wouldn't want his son to live like this. His son says Daniel wouldn't do anything to help him, but I believe that's because he perceives Daniel to be as cold and uncaring when he really isn't. I don't know what Daniel could do to help, but I know that he would want to know. I thought I'd try to convince his son that he needs to tell him what he's been going through. But his son went back to his mom's place. He isn't here now, and I wonder if he'd avoid me even more now that I know all of this. I feel like just telling Daniel might make his son go no contact and ruin the relationship altogether. And if I don't tell him, his son might like me, which would make Daniel happy. But it feels like I would be betraying my husband if I just sat on this. So, what do you guys think? Would you tell your significant other? And what do you think the son, what do you think he's fighting against? You think it's drugs, porn, sex? What? What could it be? I've thought of all kinds of things, but I don't know. I can't pinpoint it. There's nothing else on Reddit. And then some of the comments also were saying the same thing that I thought. So everybody was in the same consensus that he's either into drugs or going to strip clubs, is a sex addict. And mostly everybody, like 99% of the Reddit comments were advising her not to say anything to the dad, to Daniel, because that would break the trust of the son. But just to kind of talk to the son and ask him to open up to his dad, or maybe talk to the mom and see if the mom could kind of help it. That he should talk to his mom and then let them handle it. How would you handle this? I'd like to know. I kind of feel I know where I'm leaning, but I need your help. What would you do? Do you tell your husband about his son's gambling problem? Drop your vote. Yes, tell him, or no, stay quiet. Let me know. Okay, story number 2. Save the best for last. This is the title. My dad's deathbed confession really wrecked us. Okay. 3 months ago, this ghost we thought had been dead for like 20 years, just showed up, knocked on my mom's door like it was no big deal. And let me paint the picture for you. Scruffy, gray beard, hollow cheeks, dragging this busted, seen too much shit leather suitcase like it owed him rent. My older sister Laura opened the door. She almost passed out. Legit. I thought she was going to throw up or deck him or both. To really get it, you gotta go back. Mom always said our dad was a hero. A journalist locked up overseas for speaking out against some messed up regime. Fighting for truth, freedom of the press, all that. Then, a few years later, came the news. He died in prison from untreated pneumonia. No funeral, just a tragedy and a handful of ashes we never saw. The end, period. That was the version we grew up with. The only one we knew. The only one we believed. Laura? hated him. Even with the martyr story, she never forgave him for leaving. She always said, doesn't matter how noble the excuse, gone is still gone. So when she saw him standing there, all she said, voice shaking with fury, not surprise, was, you don't get to be here. My brother Michael, different vibe. He's quiet, always thinking, always feeling more than he lets on. He stared at Dad for what felt like forever, like he was trying to figure out if this was real life or a dream. Then just asked, how'd you get out of prison? And why now? Me? I don't even know what I felt. It wasn't hate, wasn't joy either. I was like, the ground disappeared under my feet. I built this whole version in my head, this myth, this tragic hero. And standing here was just a tired old man. For weeks, he was like a ghost floating around the edges of our lives. Mom, not having it. She shut the door on any second chances. She wouldn't dig up the past she'd already buried. So guess who took him in? Aunt freaking Bertha. We all have an Aunt Bertha. She said the poor guy had nowhere else to go, so she gave him a dusty little room in the back of her house. He didn't argue, just nodded. And then, one day, his body just gave up. The hospital ran a ton of tests. Nothing made sense. His immune system was shutting down, but there was no infection, no cancer, like something inside him was rotting. Aunt Bertha was crushed, said he wasn't eating, barely slept, claimed it was stress, guilt for all those years of hiding, catching up with him. Dad kept saying his mouth felt gross, headaches that wouldn't quit, like something was rotting him from the inside. Then, night before he died, he asked to see us, all of us. Not for love, not for forgiveness, nope. Just truth or to drop a bomb and peace out. Wow. He could barely speak, but he was stubborn. Wouldn't rest till he got it all out. Dad, okay, I was in prison, but not for long. Yeah, I was involved in politics, but they let me go after a few months. I didn't come back because, he looked at all three of us, because I found out you weren't my biological kids. Silence. My brain cracked. He went on. Your mom wrote me a letter while I was locked up. She said she loved me, but she lied. She told me the truth in that letter. I felt like everything in my life was fake, so I disappeared. I faked my death, hid. He didn't cry, he just talked, like he'd been carrying this weight so long, and now he was finally allowed to put it down. And we just stood there, statues, broken. No one said a damn word. After he died, things got weird. Not at first. Aunt Bertha called me 2 days after the funeral. Said she couldn't stay in the house. Said the room where he slept felt all wrong and heavy. She swore she kept hearing something scratching inside the closet at night. But when she checked, nothing, just dust in his old suitcase. Still zipped up, still sitting where he left it. That thing freaked me out. I don't know why. It was just a damn suitcase. But every time I looked at it, I felt like it was looking back. Michael opened it. That's his thing. So he did. There wasn't much inside. A couple of shirts, a half-used bar of soap wrapped in paper, ew, some faded photos of people we didn't recognize, and this notebook, leather-bound, no title, just stuff with pages of cramped handwriting. We took it home. Dumb idea. The first few pages were what you'd expect. Random notes, political crap, names, numbers. But then the tone shifted. Got paranoid, obsessive. He started writing like someone was watching him, following him. There were pages scratched out so hard the paper tore. There was another note, dated just a few days before he died. One of the last things he wrote. That night, I couldn't sleep. My mouth tasted weird, bitter, metallic, like I'd been chewing on aluminum foil. Laura wanted to burn it, straight up tossed it in the sink and lit a match, but the damn thing wouldn't catch. It blackened around the edges, but never really burned. The next day I went to see my mom. She looked worse than I've ever seen her, like she's aged 10 years in a week. She didn't even say hi, she just stared out the window. Eventually, I got the nerve to ask her about the letter. Okay, the one she sent Dad when he was in prison, the one that made him disappear. I told her I wanted the truth about everything and about him and about us, about who our father really was, or if he was even the only one. She didn't speak, just turned her head slowly and gave me this look, cold and scared at the same time. Like she wanted to tell me, but her mouth wouldn't let her. And then she said, "What the hell are you talking about? Are you high again?" And she walked away. That night, Laura called hysterical. She said she found Michael in the bathtub, not dead, not bleeding, just sitting there, fully clothed, muttering to himself over and over. He wasn't supposed to come back. He wasn't supposed to come back. We checked him in a clinic that next day. He hasn't said a word since. Now it's just me. Me and this notebook I cannot seem to throw away. Well, sometimes I think I see him, my dad, in reflections, in places he shouldn't be, like he never left, like he's still watching us. So I went to Aunt Bertha's place to ask her about it all. I needed answers. She let me in, but there was something off about her. Her eyes were too wide, like she hadn't slept. Her hands shook when she poured me a drink. She kept glancing over her shoulder as someone might walk in. I asked her about the suitcase. She didn't answer right away. Then, after a long silence, she finally spoke so soft I almost didn't hear it. I loved him. What? Oh my God. You ever wonder what mercury actually does to the body? I want to see the autopsy report. Urgent. Holy sweet Jesus. This post is a different level of mystery and potential crime. It's crazy. First of all, the dad comes back because he was dead, and then his son goes in the bathtub and goes to a cuckoo house and never talks again. There's drama, and then wait a damn minute. Like he just drops dead after going to live at the aunt's house. Stop. What happened? Why? How did this, how did this happen? This is like a real tearjerker family drama, right? It's like mercury poisoning, and the ghost in the suitcase and the unreadable journal. Poor little Michael in the bathtub, and it's no longer that the mom lied. It's like, who killed the dad? Who killed the journalist? He fakes his death and now he really comes back to life, but now he's really dead? Is he really dead? Or did he fake a second death? So my takeaway was that Aunt Bertha was the one that sent the letter. Aunt Bertha was in love with with the dad, and she's the one that sent the letter telling him that those were her kids, and she poisoned him with mercury and then admitted that she loved him. And then that's why she said, you ever wonder what mercury actually does to the body? Someone had a strong motive. What do you guys think? Who do you think did it? Do you think that the mom really sent the letter to him, or do you think Aunt Bertha did it? And do you think, what's the motive for Aunt Bertha? Do you think Aunt Bertha killed him? And if so, what do you think the motive is for Aunt Bertha killing him? Or do you think the mom killed him? And you think those really aren't his kids? Well, what's your verdict? What do you guys think? Text your craziest story and let me know. Let me know what you think. Anyways, that's it. Thank you so much for listening in. This was exciting. So don't forget, like and subscribe. And if you're ready to order your wines for the holidays, it's available too. The links are all on there for your confession forms. Let me know what you're thinking, what your thoughts are. If you have anything crazy like these stories to tell, or not so crazy, or something from back in the day, or just a funny story, that would be great that I can read as well. So let me know. Anyways, see you guys next Friday. Our new time, it's 6 Pacific time, 8 Central time, due to popular demand. And Tino and I will see you next Friday. Thanks for joining us. Ciao. Next episode premieres Friday, 6 Pacific time, 8 Central time. To watch this episode and all the other ones, go to OoohChile.com. Interested in hosting a private wine tasting experience or want more information on our featured wines and bubbles? You can find that at OoohChile.com.